Good morning and welcome to Career Launch Live. I am your host, Catherine McCord. I am so very excited to be here. I have a very good friend of mine with me, Foster Williams. He is the job father, and we are going to be talking about this person's not working out. Now what? And what that looks like, and what we need to do about all this stuff. All right. So, Foster, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, okay. Guys, I am a longtime recruiter. I don't want to tell you guys how long I've been recruiting because then you think I'm a dinosaur. Well, I kind of am a dinosaur.
Aren't we both?
Catherine and I both been at it for a while. I am in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. My name is Foster Williams, and my eyeglasses are on crooked this morning. I'm like,
Yeah, I was noticing me too. I'm sitting here trying to mess with
hey,
my camera. I'm like, what is happening to me
what's
today?
going
I
on?
don't understand.
Okay, we're just gonna have crooked eyeglasses, I
It's
guess.
okay. We're just gonna be
But
crooked people today. Maybe if we sit
exactly.
crooked, then it'll be fine. Like, we could just kind of sit with our heads tilted a little
Normal
bit.
conversation between Cat and Foster. I mean, it crooked. So,
But
so
you,
guys,
yeah,
yeah. I'm here in Dallas Fort Worth. I've been a recruiter forever. I am the founder of the Career Search Network. So there are a series of hundreds of groups around the United States. In 35 states is the Career Search Network, in which we get together and we help each other land jobs. We all know somebody. We do that networking thing, and
relationships.
relation. Dana Gingrich. Hey, so every time Dana and I on the who on oh wow, I got too many shows
You got too
on
many shows,
on the
Foster.
Job Father Job Seeker Network radio show every Friday. So I'll be going on here in about 2 hours.
Yep.
Dana Gingrich and I get real close to the screen every time we say relationship. Because guys,
Relationships.
honestly, and Catherine and I are going to be talking about this today. Everything that we do is via relationship. We've got a
Yes.
lot of technology, but if we don't use the technology in the way that it's intended, we'll get all messed up. And we have a lot of problems in job search right now because we're dependent on the technology and not each other. Okay, I'm gonna
I
shut.
agree 100%, and that's going to end up being a whole other show that's coming up, because that's something that's getting on my nerves. That's right, my nerves, because I believe in relationships very much, and you can't take people out of a people-centered process. That just makes no
No.
sense. So, I want to dive into the topic today because, and I have some great stories. One of which is just going to slay you. I can't wait to see your face when I tell this one. So, and I have two things that just happened to me this week
Oh,
that we can use for this show. So, but first, I want to kind of give my basic steps, and then I want to get your basic steps before we get into the how and the stories behind them. So, when you're realizing that you've brought somebody onto your team and it's not working, step one, figure out if you could be the problem. Take a real evaluation of, could it be me slash the company? You know, could this be what's going on?
hmm
Maybe we need to give an accommodation and we haven't. Maybe we need, these types of things. Like, really sit down and take stock. Could the
hmm
issue be on this end, or at least part of the issue be on this end, right? Then you want to start thinking about, are there any other trainings, any other options that we can really go through to help this person succeed? Um, and then it gets to, now what do we do about it, right? It could be a write-up, it could be, we're going to get into all the other steps, but then you get to whatever the next steps are, right? But you got to,
hmm
I think you have to start by looking at yourself. What do you think, Foster?
I think, guys, not only ourselves, we took this job, and what are the processes behind us that we are that help us do our job? Now, if we're lacking on that, we have to substitute some sort of way for people that are going to be on the team with us that we are to lead. And so, first of all, absolutely, like Catherine said, check ourselves. Check what we got. And when we say ourselves, what's behind us? What is
Yes.
the process that we're working with that might have holes, and most processes do have holes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Could that be the problem? Could because that, how often does that help happen, Foster? That it's the
exactly.
process that is jacked up.
If my process is totally jacked up, and we've all been in those situations before, who do we hire? What do I need on this team? That
Hmm.
is with a relationship type of person like I am and Catherine is. That probably is going to be the number one thing that we need to take a look at is What type of relationship do I need on this team? What are the other team members like? What works with these guys? What doesn't work with these ladies?
Mhm.
You know, hey,
Exactly. And that should be part of your interviewing process too, is adding to and making something different. And
yes,
by the way, policies and procedures do just because they work for you doesn't mean that they work, period. Let's just put that on out there. That just means it works for you and how your brain works and all of that doesn't mean that it's generally effective. It may also still not be the right way to do it. Just because it can be done that way doesn't mean
uh-huh.
it's the best way to do it. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into organizations, and this even goes back before recruiting. This I've
Hmm.
always been this way. This is just how my brain works. I've always been able to find more efficient ways that turn out higher profits, better customer satisfaction, all this. And companies would look at me and go, "But it works this way." I said, "But it's better this way." So let's pivot it. So that's the other thing. So look at yourself, look at your policies and procedures. That was a great ad, Foster. Thank you. And then kind of go into it from there. So I'm going to tell you a story that just happened to me.
Oh, okay. Come on.
um, because this is one that slayed me, and I was like, this is so perfect to talk to Foster about of all people. So I was
It
helping
involves
a
barbecue.
it does not, but I do. Oh, I miss barbecue. Every time I come to Texas, I got to get on my barbecue. So so I was we're helping a friend get look at jobs. Actually, a former employee of mine, a former
Hmm.
team member,
Hmm.
look at opportunities because I love to be references for my people. And I've helped so many of my people get their next opportunity.
You
Like
have.
when they've just decided, hey, I have something else cool I want to try. I want to go do this. That's not offensive to me. It means you have done your part here. We had a great time. Let's go on and let's be successful. So anyway, I'm
Yes.
helping this person out. And this person's been gone for a while, been amazing at other places. And I've started noticing a trend that these recruiters, because it used to be like you could reach out to a recruiter in an organization, and if it wasn't their role, they'd make the intro to the recruiter whose role it was, and then you go from there. Common practice. Just That's just kind of what
Every
happened
day. Yeah.
every day. I noticed this wasn't happening, and I was like, this is weird. This is real weird. Like I'm just getting kind of like blown off, and I'm like, okay, maybe my messaging is off. So I finally asked somebody. I asked one of the recruiters. This just happened a few days ago. Asked one of the recruiters, and this recruiter said to me, in all sincerity, I don't believe in referrals. Everyone, yeah, that was the face I made too. A recruiter that doesn't want referrals. It said,
Say what?
yes, said, I don't believe in referrals. Everyone should apply. We'll just look at their resume and figure it out.
We'll just look at the resume and figure it out. How old is this recruiter? 12?
Sadly, has been doing it for at least a couple of years, according to LinkedIn. I'm like, uh,
Oh my goodness. And
and
you're the
look,
worst person to do something like that. Oh my
I,
God.
I was just like, what is happening in my life? And I want to be clear. I don't believe that everybody needs to recruit exactly how I do. Foster and I have different
Well,
methods,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I respect his method. Andy Cook, who's a mutual friend of ours, she has a
Hmm.
different style than I do, but I
Awesome.
respect her style.
Hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful recruiter. So it's not about doing it my way, but I just like, in what universe would you not want somebody who comes with a reference from their former boss, who a great intro, that somebody that they can tell you beyond the resume. You get more information than what's on the resume. Why would you not want that? That literally makes your job easier. That makes no sense.
80% of our job is networking. Now let's take a look at what networking is. Meeting people.
Relationships.
Really,
Relationships.
my eyeglasses are still crooked.
It doesn't matter. But relationships. So my question to you, Foster, is if you were this person's manager, because to me that's a big red flag. If I have a recruiter that doesn't isn't or if flat out not taking referrals, is refusing to take referrals, that's a big red flag to me. So what would your next steps be in this case?
I would have to have a sit down. There was something I liked about this recruiter, is the reason why I hired him in the first place, or her. Um,
Mhm.
and guys, you know what? We need to communicate with each other. Just sit down as we see as leaders. Now, there's a difference between a boss and a leader. A leader's got these two eyes right here looking at everything and not trying to make people nervous about this, that, or the other, but we're
Mhm.
observing what we're seeing. And when I see a situation like that, we need to sit down and talk. We don't need to sit down in a situation where, oh, you're in trouble and I'm the boss and I'm going to tell you about it. This is what I saw. This is the experience that Catherine, my buddy Catherine, had. And there is a reason that we network. There's a reason that we approach it the way that we do. As recruiters, we cannot look at it. Now, I'm dating myself when I say that a piece of paper, but our piece of paper is that computer screen
The
nowadays,
same
guys.
thing.
I
Yeah.
can look at your resume, but I can't tell nothing about your personality. I can't tell anything about what's going on. But this is not a somebody Andy, I think, said it the other day, connect the dots kind of
Right.
situation with people. You gotta talk. I'm sorry, you gotta talk to people and see what you're dealing with, because
Yes.
Catherine's a recruiter. She's a wonderful recruiter. I look at her resume and I'm gonna get really, really excited about what I see. But you know what? I need to talk to Catherine if I'm considering hiring her. I need to
Yep.
talk to her and get a feel for what she's like and where I might want to put her. Now, when I was a talent acquisition leader, we're talent acquisition now. You get that?
Yep.
And so I worked for monstrosities like
Mhm.
Verizon, Citigroup,
Massive companies.
NASA,
Yes.
all kinds of, and guys, multiples of recruiters that work for me. Well, you got to sit down and you got to see this team. Okay, Foster, you're responsible for this team. What team? What are they doing? I as the leader need
Mhm.
to know what's going on. I don't need to know every little bump and bruise along the way, but I need to know who I'm dealing with.
Yes, exactly. And respond in curiosity. And that's what I took from what you said is respond in curiosity when something's not right. Even if you're pretty sure that you know what's going on, we
Hmm.
don't really know until we have that conversation. So that's another very important step. And I knew that you would bring that up, which I love.
Hmm.
And so responding in curiosity. Ask why. Hey, this is what I'm observing. Tell me about what's going on. And
Hmm.
say it like that, not what's wrong with you or what or what went wrong here. Don't use the word wrong. Tell me what's going on
I'm
because
a
you don't know.
leader. I'm a
Yeah.
leader. I'm a part of the team. I don't. I A lot of people did work for me, and Foster, I worked for Foster was my boss. No, I wasn't. I was part of the team, guys.
Mhm.
I'm here. I could care less about being the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I, I'm a part of the team. Can I fit in? Can I do something? I became a leader because I knew how to recruit at some point. I convinced somebody that I was good at something that they decided to put me in leadership. Come on, son. And
And
so,
that's another thing. So hold on. I want to hit on that too because you just hit on something so important because I see this mistake all the time in organizations.
mhm,
Now, it was not with you. It was not because I know you and I know you were also a good leader. But you don't promote based on who's good at the current job. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. You promote based on who's going to be great in the next role. I have promoted people who were middle of the road at the
yeah,
current job who were superb at the next step. And it's just different skills. It's just different skills.
mhm.
That's just all it is. So that's another thing. Make sure that you've put them in the right role.
Uh, so we get thrown under. Honestly, now apparently I adjusted okay, but honestly, I was focusing on trying to be a good recruiter. I was focusing on trying to keep up with the Gail Houston's and Rex Howards and all these people of the world. And then the next thing I know, somebody wants me to be a leader. I'm like,
You're
huh?
like, what?
I'm still trying to learn how to drive the car. Now you want me to race? You gonna put me on a
Yeah.
NASCAR track? Really? For
And
real?
train people. Can we talk about that? Can we start training leaders for the love of Pete? So, first of all, if you are a leader and you are in a bunch of situations that you don't know what to do, that is okay. But
Okay.
what that means is that you need training, you need
Hmm.
to learn. So, come to talks. There are tons of talks out there. Get some good mentors. And talk through things with people as you're learning them. Don't just wing it because then you're going to mess it up and you're going to actually cause harm to other people and their lives, including costing them their livelihood.
Hmm.
So don't do that, but learn from other people. But it's okay that you're new. That's all right.
That's fine.
In fact, some
Somebody got to be
genius
new at
things.
something. If I were to take a job right now, I'd be new at it,
Right,
even as
exactly.
a leader.
Exactly. It's you get that's it's just something that we've kind of missed and that we need to be training our leaders. So don't feel bad, leaders. If you need some help, reach out, get some help, ask some questions. That's okay to do.
If we go
Um,
through it together, we will look and observe what each other's doing. And it
yeah.
doesn't have to be a situation like, Catherine, this is the way it's supposed to be done. Well, Catherine, I like you and I love having you on my shows and things
Mhm.
like that, but I don't tell you how to do it.
No,
You've already got a gift from God. My goodness.
just go with it. That's the thing. And trust your people's gifts. That's and another one too that I like to encourage leaders to look at when you realize that somebody's not a good fit work wise, like talent wise. It's just not quite jiving. Maybe there's a whole aspect of the job that they're good at, but a whole
Mhm.
other one where they stink. Try symbiotic work relationships.
Yes.
This is the thing that people miss. And I know you know what I'm talking about, but a lot of people
Yeah.
don't. So I'm going to explain it. So that's when you get different people on a team that all have different strengths and weaknesses. And they work together to form one whole cell. And they get all that work done together as a team. And so they hand off things that need to be handed off. They, excuse me, I'm losing my voice today. They work together and everything still gets done. Who said that one person has to do everything? That's silly. Why? There's no reason. You have all these incredibly amazing talented people. Let them work together.
I
Do you have
got
an
a
example of
crazy
that,
I
Foster?
got a crazy analogy. Crazy.
Oh,
That's not
oh
it's
no.
not really crazy. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about because some of you guys are racers as well. I'm a car guy. I'm a drag racer. So if my car breaks down on the track, I got to get that thing off of that track. I've been out there before. I've been halfway down the track, and the daggum car broke down. I jumped out and I'm pushing, trying to get the thing off the track. Right. Foster's a strong guy. I've been in the gym for 40 years. So ooh, did I say that? But you know what? I'm pushing the car, but we're
Mhm.
getting, the car weighs 2 tons. So
Yeah.
I'm pushing the car. All of a sudden, here comes my team. And
Hmm.
there's 5 or 6 people pushing the car. And you know what? All of a sudden, the car's going faster. We're getting off the track a lot faster. We're getting out of the way so they can continue to run the other cars behind us. That is teamwork, guys. One
Yeah.
person, the leader's good, but he needs help pushing
Right.
that car off that track.
That's a great analogy. And it's the same kind of thing with sports, right? I mean, let's say you have Patrick Mahomes, right? And like the
Ooh,
best quarterback out there right now, just indisputably. I love my Cowboys, so that's painful, and I do love Dak, but Patrick Mahomes
yeah, I
out
love
there doing
that.
it. But he cannot do it by himself. He can't do it without Travis Kelsey, and he can't do it without his offensive line. And so you have to come together, and that's the most beautiful. And like you said, that which is driving is another sport. Sports is a great analogy for this because that's when everybody does come together to get one job done. And sometimes you'll notice they hop in and help. I've seen running backs and wide receivers throw a quick pass or toss the
Uh-huh.
ball over to somebody, right? And I have seen defensive tackles that get a fumble and run for a touchdown. That is not their job, but they do it
Yeah.
because that's what's going to reach the mission. So symbiotic work cells, we have so many examples of how that works in our society, and that's those aren't the only ones. Medical teams are very much that way, in a hospital.
Ooh.
So taking that mentality into the corporation setting or even into the startup setting, it works. Symbiotic work cells, they work. Just
Now
an idea.
think about this. This is crazy, you guys. Now this is Foster. This is the Fosterism. So we got Travis Kelsey out there, and we got Mahomes, and we got Taylor Swift in the
Why would ah,
Okay, so I'm a guy, right? If our favorite lady, if I'm doing something and I know that Catherine is watching, and we don't get down like that. But
no,
if Catherine's watching, it means a lot. Catherine's relationship with me means a lot to me.
yeah,
I'm gonna perform at my utmost in my head. Well, that may be a
yes.
problem because I know that Catherine is watching. I know
And
that someone very, very popular, very, very branded across the United States is watching me, and it means a lot to me. And I'm going to put forth my best face. I'm going to take
and I
these
would
earbuds
and
off.
that and let me tell you that actually that actually makes a good point, and thank you, by the way, but that actually does make a wonderful point too of the importance of mentorship and um and sharing what's going on with people and supporting them and sharing their wins and making a big deal. And not only that, but again, back to the mentors, when they have somebody paying attention to them that matters to them, that's somebody that they respect,
Yeah.
that's huge. That's absolutely huge. So that's another great way to rally your team and bring them back together, right? So, and by the way, a lot of these suggestions will also, yes, they're about the talent aspect side of it, but it's also the attitude side. When you get somebody and you put them in a symbiotic work environment and they're able to focus on their strengths and still grow their weaknesses, but to focus on their strengths, they start to have, a much stronger sense of self. They form stronger bonds with the team automatically, so on and so forth. This is also a great point, real quick, to make a comment about inclusion.
Yeah.
So, direct communication is not rude. Please stop telling people that they're too transactional. I don't even know what that means. It is a transaction. It's business, you weirdos. It's like I don't even
We're
know.
trying to
Like,
get somewhere together. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It is like, and some people that's just how they communicate. It's
Yeah.
not being rude. It's not that they don't, that they're trying to be mean. That's just how they communicate.
Hmm.
Roll with it. Just it's fine as long as they're not saying something derogatory or ugly, anything
Hmm.
like that. That's when it's a problem. Direct communication is not rude. So I digress, but I do want to talk about the people who are rude, the Jerkosaurus Rex. Because sometimes you get those people, and I'm not talking about the ones who do something by mistake, where there's a misunderstanding. Those things happen. You can respond in curiosity and you can work through it as a team. That's not an issue. But when you get the Jerkosaurus Rex,
Uh-oh.
and because that's the one that digs in, right? When you call them on the fact that what they said or did was harmful, and they dig in and they back themselves up
Hmm.
instead of showing any level of humility whatsoever, or they do something so egregious that you just can't deal with it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you and I have both seen time and again on the HR side of things, the leadership that won't let go of that person because, oh, this is a great salesperson, or oh, this person does this and this great at the job, or oh, this person is this person's, I don't know,
Oh,
sibling or friend or
it's the
whatever,
CEO's daughter.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, I've seen that one. So what do you do when you have a Jerkosaurus Rex? Because I have a one sentence, two word answer for that, but I want to hear yours first, Foster.
Now this is me. I like to try to work with everybody. There's some reason that I hired the Jerkosaurus Rex I saw, or maybe somebody on my team saw something that they like. So let's work together and try to get through this thing that we're looking at. Because guys in corporations, I want you guys to hear me what I'm saying right now. I'm gonna use my deep voice. I'm gonna try to get it low. But guys, these people, that person left an impression on Catherine, and it's not a good one. Well, you know what? That person that didn't do that works for that company. Well, what is Catherine's opinion of that company? Would Catherine suggest that somebody else work with that company? Guys, these people, leaders, and I do mean leaders, not bosses. You bosses,
Right.
I got a rubber band to pop y'all with. But you know what? You leaders, be observant of who's on your team and what they're doing along the way, because you're representing the very company that you work with. And if that company is not being referred out, the money will get funny. And guess what? Foster makes a whole lot of money because he's the boss and he's got to go. I'm spending the more, guys, companies, we're not seeing this. We're not. We're doing a terrible job in the United States. I don't know. It just ain't the United States.
No.
But you know what? We need to pay attention to who we're working with, what our team, what gels our team. We need to put our best foot forward for the very company that we're working for. If you're driving, I'll go with a car analogy again. If you're driving a car and you hear a knock, you hear something, maybe I'm not getting the power that I used to get. What do? You don't get mad. You don't throw the car away, do you? So yeah, I like this car. Hey, and
Right.
I'm gonna go and I'm going to amiably talk with someone that I feel might be able to help me fix my problem on this car. Figure out what in the world's going on here. We're going to
Yes. And
amiably
ask
try to put
ask
this
other
thing together.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, ask other people. Again, back to mentorship, use HR, use legal, like all these different people that are your resources. Um, and always talk to the person first. I am a big believer, unless it's just something egregious and off the charts.
Yeah, it's something
Which,
crazy, and you got to,
yeah,
yeah.
I did one time walk in on somebody calling somebody else on my team the N word, and that person was walked
Nice.
out on the spot, just whoop, because we all heard it. I mean, there was no like it did or didn't happen. It
I
just
had a
this is what it is, and you got to
friend that
walk
did
them
that. Oh my
out.
goodness. I was like, did I have something to do with that?
You're like, wait, what is happening?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
No, it was and it was in a not nice way either. It was
Yeah.
not like in a
You
playful
know
set,
where it's
which
coming
that's
from.
still
Yeah.
not good. But yeah, it's but you're right. You always want to talk to make sure that you do have the correct understanding, because sometimes something can sound a certain way or seem a certain way, but then you dig into it objectively, and that's the thing, folks. Is if you're incapable of handling situations objectively, you need to learn that, because that's an important tool in HR and in leadership. And number two, if you can't handle a particular situation, maybe you're good at it in general, but this one is just really hitting you wrong, or you're having a bad day or something like that, step back, let somebody else handle it. Let somebody else look at it, because that's going to be very
Nah,
important. You don't want to make these kind of decisions when you're having a quote red light day, right? When you're just back to that car analogy, right? Of like, no, I don't need to be doing anything because I'm in a bad place mentally. Mm-mm, not today.
running
Um,
in late. Somebody got my parking spot.
yeah,
Oh,
right. Yeah. When you're in a bad mood, it's not, you need somebody else to help you look at it. You do every time. So, but then you get the people that are toxic, that are causing a problem. And it doesn't matter at this point, and there's always a reason that we hired them, and that is important to remember. But at some point, you have to look at the safety of your people. And people get really stuck on, I have to take care of this human, just this human. And they get real focused, like, well, they have a family, they have this and that. First of all, whatever is outside of this workplace is not your concern when
that's
you're
right.
making team decisions. Okay. Now
Right.
you want to work with your humans and you want to be a human to the humans, but ultimately, when you need to make a grand decision, that needs to be based on the team, period, as
Yes.
it exists.
Yes.
And you don't think about all those other kinds of things. So, what you, because here's the thing, if you make the wrong decision and if you only focus on the individual and you don't think about the team, then it's going to turn out that nobody has a job, because it's going to all fall apart. So, what's better, for one person to go or everybody to go? So, that's one important aspect. The other thing is that people are scared to fire. It's like it makes them feel bad. It makes
Hmm.
them, it makes them have a bad day. Not me. I love to fire people. Not layoffs. Layoffs are horrible. Layoffs are sad. Like people that didn't earn it, and it's just some company thing or whatever, that, or something else outside of their control. Like if they
And
had
it
a bad,
usually involves more than one person. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's sad, and nobody likes that. Firing, I love it. I love it. It's even a service that I offer, and I enjoy when I get called in to do it, because this is a person that
Okay.
deserves this. You stink, and you've got to go. Like you have been a jerk to people at this company, and you've got to go.
Gotta go. Gotta
Um,
go.
you got to go. And so, folks, and I don't think you need to enjoy it like I do. That's just me. But you do.
That's
But
true.
you,
I don't enjoy it, but I will be. I will volunteer to do it.
yeah, exactly. And because it needs to be done.
Need to
And
be
you
done.
just go into, first of all, you need to prep before you let somebody go. Okay. That's one thing I think that will help a lot of leaders get through that process. Do your prep. Okay. Make a sheet that has everything they're going to need to know, like their last paycheck, anything about benefits, anything about returning equipment, badges, anything like that. Have everything on a sheet that you hand to them. You can also go over it with them if everything goes well, but you hand them the sheet. Okay. If you're able to hand them their last paycheck at the time, great. Then you hand them a box for any of their stuff, if that's relevant. That kind of thing. Have all of that ready. Don't come to that later. That makes it real weird. Come into it ready. Um, and then just be direct, because a lot of people, fumble through it. You
Yeah.
need to start off by saying, we're here because this is going to be your last day. Sometimes
Yeah. Yeah.
it's going to be real obvious why. Yeah, but the dragging it out and trying to explain it first is confusing. Now it seems like we're going to get written up. Not, that's very confusing. say what's happening right away.
Immediately.
Okay. Immediately, right off the bat.
Hmm.
And then go into it from there. Right. And talk them through anything that needs to be gone. If you need to explain why, there have been times I've looked at somebody and said, you know why we're here. And they'll nod. And then
Most
we
of
don't
it,
need to go into
you know,
it.
I bet you 7 out of 10 people that I have had to do that with knew that that was it.
Oh yeah.
There were
Oh
some
yeah. They're
egregious
not,
things that they did, and they knew I
they
need
knew.
to have my butt out here. I got caught this time.
Yeah.
I need to be.
Yeah. They knew.
I
They
stole
know.
Beanie Babies on the company property.
Yeah. Oh, now that's a fun one. I
Oh,
had,
oh,
I,
you and I got to talk. Yeah,
I got one that did a drug deal on the floor, on the sales floor,
nice.
in front of everybody. Had the drug dealer walk in, took the drugs, handed the drug dealer the money, drug dealer left again in front of everyone, like a
Wow,
big like sales pit. I was like,
hide in plain sight. We're not telling you guys to do this.
and he goes, but now this was funny. Did tell me he wasn't supposed to come inside. He was supposed to let me come out to the parking lot. I'm like,
Mm,
well, at least you didn't plan it this way. Like, there's that, but
yep.
but it was,
I
but
had
we
a
still got to,
lady that I had to get rid of smoking pot. Had her
yeah,
on one, two, three cameras.
yeah.
Smoking pot
Yeah. Like, no, you can't and on company property. And here's what gets me.
on
Here's what
company
gets me.
property.
The ones that fail the stupid test are the ones that are the most irritating fires to me.
Hmm.
Because it's like all you had to do was not do it on company property, or all you had to do was come in, not make it obvious to everybody. Why? Why did you choose to do this? This is
And
so stupid.
sometimes they're their best performers, and oh my
Oh
goodness,
yeah.
you know you're losing something.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Oh yeah. And I do have a firm policy that I will share that's that's funny. I do not believe in drug testing sales teams because you're going to lose half of them
Oh,
if you regularly, not when you not at the time of hire, but if you regularly drug test sales teams, you're going to lose them. Okay, that's
hmm.
just what's going to happen. Um, so you have to kind of understand that humans are going to. It's just like drinking, right? You can drink in your private life. Don't come to work and get drunk. Why? Why
Don't
would
come
you
to
do that?
work drunk, y'all.
Don't don't fail the stupid test. Okay, that's the thing. Don't fail the stupid
That's a good
test.
one. Yeah.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. Um, it's don't do illegal activity at the job. That's just stupid. Come on now. So
And most companies will give you a list of what is accepted and what
yeah,
is not, you know. And some of the
employee
things are
handbook,
like, you
folks.
guys, you got to tell me not to smoke pot on the property, really?
Yes, you know why? You know why? Because somebody did
Somebody did it, and
it. Just call people.
I had to get rid of somebody that did it.
Yep, yep. We've all been there. We all to call any HR person. We've all
All of
had ridiculous stories. So the point is, at some point, you're going to have somebody that doesn't work out for whatever reason. Sometimes it's a sad something. I've had to very gently terminate somebody who was not coping with a death very well.
okay.
And we gave them as much bereavement as we could, mental health resources, but the person's was not being kind to coworkers anymore, was really suffering. We knew what it was. It was very sad. That was a hard one. That was a hard one.
Hmm.
Um, and we had to work through it. So sometimes it's a sad thing, but you still need to do it because it wasn't okay for everybody else on the team
Hmm.
to have to be going through this too. And we did like I said, we did everything we could to help. So sometimes it's a hard thing. Sometimes it's an easier thing. Sometimes you just got to let people go, but start with curiosity. First, well, no, start with check on yourself. Are we sure it's not me? Like, am I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
bothered by
that's
this?
a must because they will
Yeah,
bring it out when you're in that process of getting rid of somebody. They might throw the egg right back in your face.
it's true. Well, and also you need to know this about yourself as a leader too, because I when I've gotten real with myself, I've caught myself and gone, ew, no, I need to work on this. This is me. Like I'm bothered by this. It's not actually them. What they're doing is not actually a problem. This just irritates me. And that's my problem, and I need to deal with
Yes,
it.
yes.
So turn it in first, then look at your processes and procedures, then get curious, like Foster said, get curious with the folks, talk to them in an amicable kind of way. No, you're wrong. This is bad. Blah, 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 blah. No,
See what's going
curiosity,
on. Yeah.
curiosity, figure it out. See if there's some things you can work on together. Try to bring them together because, as Foster said, there's a reason you hired this person. But if not, you got to let them go. Fire them. Fire them. Okay, just do it. Just
Don't
gone.
be afraid to get it over with and deal with it at that
Yep.
point. But
Rip off the
if
band-aid.
Have you ever bought some fruit, brought it home, and there's this one bad spot on there?
Yeah.
Where do you go? You can get rid of that spot, but you
Yeah.
might not if you're Foster and you're from the country like I am. You may not get rid of the whole fruit. You might just take the bad part out and
And
get
that's
after
okay
that other.
too. And that's okay too. And don't forget about symbiotic work relationships. They
Yes,
work in sports, they work in hospitals, they work in corporations.
they work.
Ask these two humans, they work. So thank you so very much for joining us, Foster. Give us one last bit of Foster wisdom,
Oh
if
my
you could.
goodness. Okay, guys, everything. Now I want to make this as loud as I can. I got a pretty big mouth. So, you know what, guys, it is a relationship. You can overcome most things through a relationship. A lot of times even getting fired. But if you're in job search, and we're speaking to a lot of people that are in job transition right now, you've got the time to build those relationships. Guys, stop doing this. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop looking at pieces of paper and making everything a mechanical process. We are people. Look, see that face? That's a people
Relationships.
right there. In the relationships, we can find out what's going on, and we can attack these things together, and we can get
Yes.
our problems done. Corporations, we can get our problems done. But even before you guys hire anybody, get
Yes.
together and find out what you need. What needs to be here? What,
Yeah.
there is a tangible. We'll get that from the resume, Mr. Recruiter, that pissed Catherine off. So we will get that, but there's intangibles that need
That's
to
right.
occur on there.
100%. And thank you so very much for sharing that,
Very
Foster. I
welcome.
completely agree. And by the way, there is a place for forgiveness in business, and I will be doing an episode on that
Oh,
coming up. A good one on forgiveness. That's
let me
important.
know. I'll
And
be in the audience watching.
oh yeah, I will. And there's going to be two real quick questions. This is a new thing I'm doing this season.
I like it.
So if you could give one sentence of advice to a leader that it has a person who just grinds their nerves, like it's not that the person's a bad employee or a bad team member or anything, they just grind the leader's nerves. What is your one sentence advice to them as to how to fix that?
Why'd you hire him? Maybe you hired him because Catherine knows this person has a relationship with. There's something as people, guys. There's something we can get down to now. Leaders, we have to be transparent. Have to be ready to look at ourselves, and we are here to get a certain thing done. So let's investigate. Why'd you hire him? Come on,
Yeah.
son.
Focus on the good. My other thing would be maybe do some nerve work with yourself. There are neurological things that you could do to kind of
Dr.
calm
Phil comes
yourself.
on every day.
Yeah, do maybe not Dr. Phil, but yeah, there's plenty of but seriously, work on yourself, take some deep breaths, and focus on the things that you like about the person. And
Yes.
then my last question is to you, Foster, because
Good.
I like to ask a fun question too. When somebody is in Dallas, where should they go for good barbecue?
Cadillacs. Cattle. Cattle. ACKS.
There you
Enough
go.
said.
That's it. Thank you so very much for coming and be with me today, Foster. Thank you, everybody else.
Absolutely.
We are going to be having our season closer next week, and then we'll be back again starting the first week in January with Miss.
Oh.
So next week, tune in for me, Miss K. Suthar, all the way from the United Kingdom.
Oh, from the
And
UK. Okay.
have a lovely Friday, everybody.
Have a good Friday.
Bye.
Thank